Welcome to Screencast, our only entertainment podcast where we discuss all entertainment news, TV shows, stream services, and movies. I'm your host, Kevin Coelho, and joining me today is the man with the finger scale review, Nick Scarpino.
They call me Fingers McGee.
They do. I've been doing it for a while. I didn't think it would catch on, but it did.
Yeah.
The fingerer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, don't. Let's not go with that one.
I finger movies.
No, I don't like that. I don't like that. Makes me
One, two,
uncomfortable.
come
on.
It has to be one.
And to his right, my hetero life mate, you know him as Tim Baby Blues Gettys.
It's true. I don't have a scale. I need to figure out what my scale is.
I don't even have a scale.
You gotta have one though.
I've knocked it
Do
out of
you?
the
You
park
have
with
a
the finger
scale?
scale.
I have one.
I have a scale.
Yeah,
Are you familiar with it?
The movie.
2 thumbs up, 1 thumbs up. You know, what was it? 1 thumbs down, 2 thumbs down.
You have the
Easy.
modified Siskel and
Easy.
Ebert scale.
Yeah.
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 It's mostly Siskel and Ebert. It's 90% Siskel Ebert, 10% Kevin.
I'm
and
pretty
then
sure half of them are dead, so
there's a 1%
they don't
chance of-
own that anymore. You know?
No, I think
they don't have
Siskel
that
still-
copyrights.
Maybe they never did. Maybe the network had it.
Like, can you copyright a scale like that?
Sure you can. 2 thumbs up? Hell yeah, you can. You put 2 thumbs up on a t-shirt right now, fucking Gene Siskel's gonna crawl up your ass with a lawyer. That's what he's gonna do.
My thing is, I've always believed. I put a lot of thought into the theory of review scales.
Yeah.
Whether it's video games or movies or anything. Because
Sure.
like over the years, like we've seen IGN or EGM or Nintendo Power, whoever, change their scales
Right.
all the time, right? The point scale. So even
Right,
if it's
right,
like 1 to 10, if you add 0.5s, all of a sudden it's a 20-point scale. And that's when you start getting crazy. I've always believed that the 5-point scale is superior.
I agree with
The 5
that.
points,
that's-
like
yeah,
5
yeah.
stars.
That's why I think that
Like
the
yeah.
3-point scale that Nick has a little too forgiving.
I just feel like you're asking for way more work than is necessary. Is the movie? Should you go see the movie or not? That's really.
So
the
you're
the
saying
big
you want a
question.
2-point scale now?
I
Good
want,
or
no,
bad?
I have a 3-point scale, but the first 2 points are go see the movie. This one's don't go see the movie.
So
So
This one's
really,
go, so okay. So the bottom
So
one
go
is
see the
The bottom
movie.
one is don't go see the movie. The middle one is it's worth seeing, and the third one is definitely it's a
Yeah,
good movie.
this is actually a good movie.
But really, the only two that matter are these two right here. Should you see the movie or not? Once you say yes, we're going to see the movie, you go to column B, which is it going to be a good movie, good movie, or good bad movie? That's
There's a
it.
flow chart to this.
All right,
But
that all
the
makes
flow chart
sense.
thing, to not
It's
go too
super
long
easy.
on this is I've always believed in the 5-point scale, but it's interesting that the 5-point scale, you need to figure out what the actual, what you're saying that it represents, because if you go A, B, C, D, F, that means something very different than stars.
I've always seen my scale
'Cause your
as
scale
like
is 5.
2 thumbs up is like go and watch this movie. 1 thumbs up is like yeah, go and watch it. It's worth it. You don't have to though. And then the middle face is like if you have a movie program like A-List or Movie Pass,
I feel like that's
go and
like
watch it.
on an airplane.
Yeah, definitely. That's the same thing where it's.
I could argue that one below that is also airplane worthy.
No, because those movies are just like it's like not enough heart was put into this. Go watch this if you have nothing to do and
I'll
you're
figure
all
out
by
my
yourself.
scale. I'll keep you guys updated.
Excellent. So this show is recorded live every Friday at 11 a.m. on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames and then posted on youtube.com/kindoffunnygame or kindoffunny. Sorry, and also on all your favorite podcast services. If you enjoy the video or MP3, give it a little like, subscribe, do all that business. Now to some housekeeping. We're doing a fundraiser. If you want to help support Kind of Funny, now is the time to go on Patreon and support us. Please do.
Patreon.com/kindoffunny. The $5 bronze membership allows you to write into this show. We got some stuff this week.
We do. We have several.
We have a question of the week for you to answer next week, so that's fun. And silver members get the show ad-free.
Thank you, Tim. This show is also brought to you by our sponsor, Skillshare. But more about that later. Now it's time for the news. Still nothing, Barrett, huh?
No.
No sound effects from you.
No news.
Okay. No, that's fine.
News.
I just assumed that you'd make something up because last time we put you on the spot.
Barrett, let's try it again, Barrett. Now, your job depends on you making a sound effect right now. Ready? Give it to him again, Kevin.
Now it's time for some news.
Ooh, it's the news.
Oh,
There it
I like
is.
it. I like it a lot.
Yes, Mr. Giraffe. Get all the marmalade.
No. All right, so the first story, Netflix just announced the biggest price increase in the history of its streaming services.
I don't like this.
Ooh.
So I heard about this, but I
Yeah.
didn't get the details.
And I've
Hit
got
me
the
with them.
details for you right now.
Fantastic.
The standard plan, $10.90. Wait, hold on. Let me see. So sorry,
you don't got the
No,
detail.
I do. I have them here. So its plan $7.99 will go up to $8.99.
Okay.
Okay. And its $13.99 plan will go up to $15.99. So we're going 14
Damn,
to 16.
$16.
Yeah.
It's still
But also,
worth it.
was
Yeah.
at $14, and we didn't fucking know.
I didn't fucking know.
No,
That's
I knew. We talked about it last time it went
what
up.
I'm saying is, like, you don't realize
yeah,
it.
you don't realize it.
totally worth it. I'll tell you though, still at $15.99, it's still worth it to me. Have you guys
absolutely.
watched 7 Days Out? Holy
No.
shit.
What is it?
I
Are you
watched the
watching
trailer for it.
It's a documentary series that follows all these like big
Oh,
things, but 7 days
I've
out.
seen the trailer.
So
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Westminster
yeah.
Dog Show is the first one. It's the only one I've seen. It is worth it. It's
The new
worth
company,
7 days out?
The new company Aransky works for, 100 Thieves.
Yeah,
has
they have one. It's
of
the
theirs.
esports one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they follow
Cool
them as they're going to, I think, League of Legends Championship or something like that. But I'm interested in the Met Gala one or the one that's there's like the best restaurant on the planet is like reopening after renovations, and it's 7 days until they open. I'm like, that's
Very
cool
cool
shit.
idea.
That's really
Just
cool.
shit like that is cool, man. All the stand up, it's worth $16.99.
I agree.
I
$15.99,
agree,
excuse
but
me.
at the same time, it just sucks when you have to pay more for something you were paying less for. Of
course.
Yeah, and when's it going to end? Like, here's the thing. It sucks because these price increases are going to continue. But honestly, like going with what Nick's saying, it's like their content offerings are going to continue to grow, and they've proven to me at least that it's worth it, and they're growing in a way that I very, very much enjoy.
Yeah.
The amount of times that I've watched things that I would have never given a chance before, been introduced to like stand-up comedy, I have a new love for it because of Netflix.
Yeah,
like
me
it
too.
really introduced and
Absolutely.
invigorated something in me that I've always been kind of interested in, but now I'm like obsessed with knowing when I hear like, oh, Chris D'Elia has a new special, I'm like, fucking when? Let's go. And the Patriot Act with Hassan Minaj,
Yeah.
like weekly content on Netflix. It's beautiful. Oh, I can't wait for that to come back. Oh, when's it coming?
What was wrong with your face for a second? And it you're cracking it open. Got it.
Doggy dog.
So
the thing, sorry, last point on this. Everything prices always have to raise, right? That's just how you keep up with it. Shit gets more expensive as the time goes on. And that's just what happens, right? People raise prices. Netflix is not the first price increase Netflix has ever done. It's not going to be the last. Shit gets more expensive. They're giving us more content. It's worth it.
Yeah. What gets scary is the amount of subscription services that we need to have. Having said that, we don't need to have any. It's on us if we decide that it's worth
I'm getting
the
real
content
close with
offerings.
CBS All Access, man. I'm telling you right
Yeah?
now. I
Do
want
it,
that
Nick.
Discovery season 2.
I'm really excited. I'm gonna try to watch Discovery this weekend.
Discovery's good. They got the Picard series coming at some point. Once Picard hits, and I hope it's just called Star Trek Picard, and I hope it's just him playing
Not
the fucking
the
flute,
usual naming
playing
scheme
his
for
weird
those.
flute.
All
He
right.
plays a little pan flute.
So just a little bit more information.
like
So
Willy Wonka.
currently the prices have gone up for anyone that's new, and current subscribers will begin to see new prices reflect in their bills over the next 3 months.
You know what I wish? I wish it was like 24-hour fitness where you get grandfathered
Yeah.
into the old rate, where it's like I'm paying $70 a year for 24-hour fitness, and people are like, "How did you get this?" And I'm like,
When
I
they
don't know.
started their increases, it was like that, or there were other things that were grandfathered in, like multiple people on one account without having to pay for the now $16 plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks because, you know, another one of my favorite subscription services right now is AMC A-List Stubs, whatever
Yeah.
the fuck they want to
Which
call
I
it.
used last night.
Oh, you signed up for it?
No, I just used Kevin's. We got in the line.
Oh, right, got
and
it.
I
hate
made
you
him,
so much, Nick.
I saw
Yeah,
Kevin.
we'll get to that later.
I saw
Nick,
Kevin, and
hold
I was like, Kevin, get me into the good line. And Kevin's like, what? All right, fuck it. And we got in, and I was like, and then I got nervous. I was like, is this gonna work? And Kevin's like, well,
got
you're such
so
a fucking
nervous.
weirdo. And then we got up to the front. The guy looked at me, and I was like, I'm with him. And Kevin scanned his stuff thing and just walked away. And I'm like, oh, and like a large Coke, please.
Yeah, hey, get them points.
Yeah.
That's how it works. But the thing with AMC A-List is it's been $20 a month to be able to watch 3 movies at AMC theaters, including Dolby and IMAX, 3D, anything. Doesn't matter. You don't have to pay more. And you can also reserve your tickets before you go, which was a huge thing above or over Movie Pass. And like I already have my Captain Marvel ticket reserved.
Yeah, me
That's,
too.
That type of stuff's fantastic to me.
that shit.
And they announced they're raising their prices.
But aren't we grandfathered in?
So here's the thing: it's a raising prices depending on the location of where you live in America. We, of course, being California, get affected the most. I think it's going up to like $23, something like that.
Yeah, it sucks.
But we are grandfathered in for a limited time. Then eventually, starting somewhat, I think mid 2019, it's going to go up. But my thing is, I'm looking at it and I'm like, I use this so much. I'm watching so many movies with this service, and it's fantastic. And on top of it, one Dolby ticket in San Francisco
the same price.
You're saving money.
Yeah.
Like you were actually saving
Well, not
money.
anymore.
But not anymore.
Yeah,
now
yeah,
it's
it used to be.
$22. But yesterday we watched Glass, which we'll talk about later. And I was telling Nick, who was watching it with us, just sign up for the AMC A-list because it's going to be less expensive than you buying the ticket. And of course he didn't, because I get that sounds like it's a huge process. We got to get sponsored these motherfuckers because we just believe in it so much. Literally, if you are going to go see a movie at an AMC theater, do not just buy a ticket. Download the AMC app and subscribe to A-list. It's that easy.
Yeah.
It's instant.
Well,
it's not like
sometimes the tickets are like $7. I went to see Vice earlier. That's another cool thing of A-list is you can watch multiple movies in the same day. So
same movie
before we
times.
saw Glass, I saw Vice.
What'd you think?
It's good.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. It's fucking depressing though.
It's
so,
really depressing.
So depressing.
Fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like some of the things they do, like movie wise, like when they have the like fake.
Hold on.
The fake out,
Hold
you know
on.
what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? The fake out?
Do you want the spoilers, bro?
No, it's fine. I'm not gonna say anything.
Don't spoil anything.
There's just some bold moves they make.
Yeah, they make
with
a lot
like
of,
the like,
I know exactly what you're
editing
talking about,
and stuff that is like, wow, that's so cool. What a funny bit you did there.
You know what also is funny about, sorry, it's a segue to Vice, but it's funny how little I know about that time period.
Yeah.
Because I lived through it.
Right.
And I remember all the news.
Yeah,
And I remember thinking, this is all bullshit. And now you watch that, you're
now
like,
look at me like,
right.
oh man,
It's like
if
when we
this
watched
is
the-
real,
Yeah,
that was some
that was
fucked up shit. Yeah.
And it's like watching The People versus O.J. Simpson. I'm like, I lived through this, but how did I not know half of this information? I don't know. What do we got next?
All right, so next story, Uncharted news.
You have to forever point
in
to
other
the thing
movies
like
out
the
that are
there.
point,
never going to
yeah.
actually happen news.
So Uncharted movie finds new director in 10 Cloverfield Lane, Helmer Dan
Dan Trachtenberg?
Trachtenberg.
And Trachtenberg.
Now, Dan Trachtenberg, if you remember, was the guy that did the Portal No Escape
Portal No
short,
Escape,
which was
aka
dope.
one
Really,
of the greatest
really dope.
internet video shorts of all time. Short film based on the Portal franchise.
Right.
It was so damn good. So good that it got him the job to do the second Cloverfield movie. I mean, he was making the movie, and then it got turned into a Cloverfield thing,
Cloverfield.
which that movie I had a great time with.
Good movie.
It wasn't perfect.
Yep.
Fun movie.
Yeah,
It wasn't
interesting
perfect.
ending,
I think-
but that was the stuff that was tagged on.
That was the problem,
Yeah.
right? Is I think the movie would have been really cool had it not had to be a part of the Cloverfield movie. Having said that, I liked it. I thought it was
liked it a
cool.
lot.
Yeah,
Which is
it was
also
a hell of a lot
true
better
for
than
Paradox.
Cloverfield Paradox.
I enjoyed Paradox though.
I enjoyed moments of Paradox.
But like there was a lot of stuff that like was clearly added in to make it fit in that storyline.
And didn't work.
Yeah. So some things about this is the production date is unknown, but Sony has a shooting date officially locked. So
Is this still
supposedly
Tom Holland?
it's
This is the
actually
furthest
happening.
along.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom
So
Holland
this
still.
is the film stars Tom Holland and chronicles Drake's first encounters with professional rogue Sullivan. So it's cool that it like doesn't. It's not one of the games that we've played.
Yeah.
So it's its own thing. Do you guys think this is ever actually going to happen?
Yeah,
though?
it's gonna happen.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda. Because Uncharted 3, like half of that was.
No,
about-
it wasn't half. It was one tiny part where you go back in time.
It was
Part
like
that lasted
3
way
tiny
too long,
parts.
ensuring that
Yeah.
Uncharted 3 is not as good as 2.
Fuck you, Tim.
Oh, whoa!
For a different show.
Whoa!
I think this movie should happen. I think it's going to happen. I'm just mystified that it hasn't happened yet. But my hope, which I'm sure is completely unfounded, is that they're taking their time with it and trying to make something real good.
No, it
but
seems
it's had
like they're
15
losing
directors
everyone, yeah.
and 15
Yeah.
actors. I'm also conflicted because let Tom Holland if you got Tom Holland, just make more Spider-Man movies. Just make him be Spider-Man all the time. I don't want him to not be anything but Spider-Man. Doggy dog. You see what I'm saying?
I
We're gonna
do.
talk about
I
Far
see
From
what
Home
you're
later,
saying. We
and I already
are.
have a half a fucking semi. That's what I'm saying right now.
Half a semi.
Yeah, it's a quarter eye. It's a quarter eye.
I don't think that we need an Uncharted movie. I think that the games are so good on their own. There's no reason that jumping the barrier of games to movies. I don't think it's necessary.
I agree, and I know this is not a popular opinion, but I never stop saying it. Like Uncharted and Fast and Furious are like the exact same thing, where it's just like, hey, well, at least the good Fast 5 on, where it's just like, we need to go to this place to do this thing. Oh, now we got to go here.
Yeah.
Why? Just to get to the next big set piece. That's it. That's all Uncharted is.
Yeah.
But it has very charismatic characters, just like Fast and Furious. And I feel like translating that to movies is never going to work, because I feel like Uncharted is just a movie translated to game, and translating it back, I feel is going to be like kind of putting something into Google Translate. And it's just like,
Yeah,
it's
you
going to be
lose
almost
stuff,
there.
yeah.
You get what they're saying, but it's
Well,
not
with
going
games,
to be
you
right.
have so much more time to develop the characters that movies just.
And just
Well,
the,
I
like,
don't
especially
do-
for Uncharted,
yeah.
just the like character walking and his like random quips here and there, just like talking about stuff. Like you miss that in what this is going to be.
See, I'll disagree just a little bit, because at best, this movie could be Indiana Jones. At worst, it's probably going to be Alicia Vikander's Tomb Raider. Right?
Which wasn't that bad.
Which wasn't that bad, but it begs the question, like, the games are so good and loved by all, do we really need a run-of-the-mill Tomb Raider or Uncharted movie?
That's what I'm saying. I don't believe that we do. But if it gets made, I'm
My prediction is
excited
it's going to get made.
it.
It's going to come out. We're all going to watch it.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Great. And then it's going to make enough money to warrant a sequel, and we're going to go, okay, cool. And then Tom Holland, when he grows up, will be Nathan Drake, and then they'll have to recast Spider-Man as Miles Morales. Or whatever.
Well, yeah, but also Spider-Man can grow up and just be a more adult Spider-Man.
He can't. I like him as a kid.
Let's move to the next story.
It's fun when he's in high school. It's not so fun when he's dealing with fucking relationship problems. Okay, that's just my life. Thwap. You didn't make enough money this year. Fuck.
So in other news, 2 more Mission Impossible movies greenlit.
Fuck yeah, dog.
Dude, I'm excited.
One of these days, Tim
Shooting
Gettys,
back to back.
One of these days,
right, back
Tim
to
Gettys is
back.
gonna fucking sell out, and we're gonna do Mission Impossible in review,
It's not
and it's
selling
gonna be fucking. Well, I'm gonna fucking
I
stuff
can't
his
wait.
pocket full of money.
What do we have to do?
What do we gotta
Tim?
do?
What do we have to do?
What do we have to blow?
I want to watch
Is it
them.
Barrett?
Here's my problem.
Do I have to
Jesus.
sexually?
No.
What?
Back
Nick,
off.
no.
Back off. Leave that.
I'm just saying, we're watching Fast and the Furious now. We're doing this for you, Tim. Why can't you do this for us?
I want
Why?
to do it. Trust
Why?
me. This is how much I want to do it. It's like we have plans for an review, and the Mission Impossible unfortunately does not fit into them at this time, and
Bullshit,
that pisses
dude.
me off because I want to watch them right now.
Yeah.
I'm so hyped up on this. You guys have sold me so much.
Here's the deal: you can't watch these, and you can't watch. We're gonna talk about John Wick later.
Yeah.
We got to figure that out
I know.
too, because
I know.
the Mission Impossible series is one of the only movie series that has spanned 6 movies that has consistently gotten better. I don't fucking understand
It's
how.
insane.
I watched Mission Impossible Fallout again on the plane ride back from Argentina.
So good.
And I was like, fuck, I gotta go to the bathroom. Oh, I can pause. I was so excited to watch the movie again. 5 minutes in, I'm like, why is this so fucking good?
Tim,
it's so fun.
There's a moment at the end where you know what's gonna happen.
I know.
But it's still
still
suspenseful,
good.
and you're still
I
like,
love that. That's a
oh
good movie.
shit!
They take
Yeah,
it
it's
up
a
a notch,
great movie.
man. They take it up a notch.
So
They're gonna
yeah.
have to, like the next one, my prediction, they actually physically kill a human being in real life.
Whoa.
In real life, kill someone.
No,
Because
that's
they just keep
bad.
taking this shit up, man. They're like, I can't learn how to. He's already learned how to pilot planes and helicopters. Let's assassinate a human being.
No,
let's kill him.
Nick.
Let's kill him, motherfucker.
Let's do it.
Anyways,
Let's do it.
So we've got that to look forward in summer 2021 and summer 2022. It's awesome that they're
so
filming
excited
back
about
to
that.
back.
Yeah.
You're gonna watch these one and you're
really
gonna fuck
stoked.
up.
I know. I'm
They're-
fucking ready.
Because you know what? It's very much. We're going to talk about John Wick in a second, but it's very much like John Wick, where Mission Impossible knows what it is and just goes, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to be the best at this.
Good.
We're going to be
And
the
they
best.
nail it.
That's
Similar
my
to how
favorite
Fast
thing,
and Furious,
man.
like we're
I
going to be
love
the
it.
best
I
at
love it.
just
Yep.
car fucking superhero shit.
They're in on the joke, and they go
It's
so hard.
So fun.
Yeah.
Best.
All right, Barrett. Last news story. Man,
My man.
the Hunchback of Notre Dame gets a Disney live action
Why
movie.
not, dude? Let's just
announced.
knock them out. All right. We got the entire.
Did this movie do well?
No, but like it wasn't the fault of it though. It's a good movie. It's a
Is
really.
it?
No,
I
it's
hate this movie so much.
No, it's a fantastic movie, and it has a great soundtrack,
Is
and
Demi
it
Moore
does
in
things
this
that are
one?
very different than any of the Disney movies of that time. And I think that was to its detriment, where it didn't have the like kind of iconic princess elements going on.
Right.
And
It was a more
came
serious
after-
Disney movie.
and it was more serious. It was more grown up. It came after Pocahontas, which kind of was the tripping point. I think Pocahontas is good, but it's not.
Oh, this is great.
It's not great though. It's not.
Dude, come on.
What?
You're pissing off a lot of people.
Compared
Baby
to
boy.
any of the movies around it.
This ain't okay.
This isn't okay.
No, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, Aladdin. It's just not on that level. That's what
I
I'm
put
saying.
Pocahontas above Aladdin, man.
No, fuck.
You're
fired.
fucking dumb, dude.
You get
no
your
more
shit,
talking for you.
collect your
Turn your
shit,
mic off right
and
now.
leave.
You're crazy.
All right, that's number 11 of me being fired this week.
But Hunchback.
Fired him yesterday.
I feel
don't
like.
know why.
What did you say?
I tried to fire him yesterday.
Oh,
remember?
they said I farted yesterday.
Oh, I
You
did
weren't
fart
in the
yesterday. I'm sure I
office
farted at some point
yesterday.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the day before.
But Hunchback is a good movie.
Yeah.
And then I think it gets overshadowed by a lot of
It's
other
in
things
that-
because it does have that grown-up element. And again, the music is fantastic.
Well, I
It's
just-
the most epic that we've had in those type of movies.
It's just so weird that it's going to be a live action because I just feel like.
Do we need this? I don't know.
Yeah.
we don't
I
actually.
say we definitely don't need this.
Well, I mean, we need this
'Cause
as
it's
much
cool.
as we need a live action Lion King.
No,
right?
but that's
We
cool.
don't really-
That's different,
Like
though.
that's cool. We have the technology now. They
Sure,
always
but I
wanted
mean,
to make it live action.
Again, another thing with this, this movie can be, this can be great. This is a story that's been told a lot of times. I remember watching The Hunchback of Notre Dame one time and being like, this does not have it. It does not have it. It does not have what Beauty and the
Hercules
Beast
had it.
It did not.
It did. You haven't
Hercules
seen
did
it.
not have it.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, Hercules is a
Hercules
great
had it.
movie.
Hercules has. Was not Hercules and this, in my opinion, are on the same level where it's just not. It's not top tier.
They're not. They're
definitely
not top
Hercules,
tier.
Hercules just came out in a bad
Did.
time.
And so did this. It's
No,
like they were
this
in
movie
this.
is fucking like not good. This is not a fun movie, and it's made. Well, it was made for kids. It should have been fun.
No, I disagree with you. But I'm interested to see how they handle Quasimodo. Like, is it going to be CG? Like,
It should have been Danny
No,
DeVito.
it's gonna be a dude with like a bunch of stuff on.
They're gonna do what they did with the fucking what was that Frankenstein movie that came out with Harry Potter? Where they just put a big fucking thing on his back and he has to
Yeah.
walk around like this, and no one wants to watch that for 2
wasn't-
hours.
I don't know. We'll see.
It's
Was
off-putting.
it just called Frankenstein?
No, it was something
it-
else.
was it the other one?
Frankenstein.
No, I
that was a
Frankenstein with
different
Aaron
movie. That was a
Eckhart, and
different
man,
movie.
What's
that was a weird
Frankenstein's
movie.
first name? I think it was called
Victor
that.
Frankenstein.
Victor.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Good
gonna
call.
just be
Good
weird.
call.
I don't know.
What's next?
Yeah, I'm just not excited for this. Next is a new segment we've never done before called Trailer Talk, where we talk about trailers that just came out this week.
Yeah.
So today
whole
we're doing
bunch this week.
we're doing 4 trailers.
Yeah.
1, Genlock, which is up right behind us. Then John Wick Chapter 3. Then Ghostbusters sneak peek,
Then
Game
ended
of
hard.
Thrones, and Spider-Man. So that was
So it's
5. Yeah, not 4.
5 trailers. Let's start with Genlock.
Man,
The new anime from Rooster Teeth debuting this month. Been a lot of talk about this for a while.
Here's what I love about this. You IMDb search Genlock, and the first 2 names that come up as voice actors are Dakota Fanning and Blaine Gibson.
Blaine Gibson, baby. You gotta
But-
fucking
Yeah.
love it.
Michael B. Jordan and David Tennant.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Maisie Williams also
Yeah.
in this.
Rooster Teeth is up to some crazy
Maisie
shit,
Williams,
man.
Arya Stark, for people that don't know.
Asia Kate Dillon, who was in this and also in John Wick, who plays, she's a character in Billions. I fucking love that show. Weird that she's in this too. I just thought about that. She's the through line for all of these trailers. I think she's in every single movie we're going to watch.
This is super cool. It's obviously the follow-up to Ruby. I remember being in love with Red vs. Blue growing up, and then when season 10 ended, there was the teaser for Ruby made by Monty Oum, and it was like, whoa, this is super different. They're definitely going for a different kind of audience, and they succeeded. You know, I don't love the entire run of Ruby, but
Is
season 1
Ruby
was fine.
continuing or is it done?
Oh, yeah, no.
okay, yeah.
Ruby is
Yeah.
a hyper success.
Yep.
Yeah, Ruby's a bank.
and,
They're just
you know,
walking in
Rooster
and
Teeth-
taking money out of it.
They're making history.
Ruby's on Netflix, right?
They're making history here where Ruby, and now with this, it's going to be the first animes to be exported from America to Japan. Like Ruby's in Japan with full Japanese voice acting that they handle over there. Like it's crazy shit. They got licensing with Warner Brothers Japan. But this is exciting because it's their first big animated project that isn't just like a small little comedy thing, like miniseries. Like this is a proper follow-up to Ruby, and then going with Michael B. Jordan, going with Maisie Williams, David
It's
Tennant,
a
like
bold, awesome
is.
cast.
and so the trailer came out and I watched it. It's cool.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I'm excited for episode 1. I don't know how much I'm going to stick with it all. But it's crazy to see how much their animation style has
So,
evolved from
where is
Ruby,
this coming
episode
out?
1. Rooster Teeth.
Rooster Teeth proper.
Yeah, Rooster Teeth. If you're a first member, you get that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those. I very obviously like I don't adopt anything very early, but this looks fucking cool.
Yeah.
and it's one of those. Well, you put the trailer list together. I was like, oh, we're gonna watch Genlock. That was the trailer I was least excited for
Yeah.
to watch. Saved it for the end. Watched it. I'm like, this is fun. It looks great. Voice cast is great. Concept is great. It smacks of Gundam, Robotech, all those old school anime that I love growing up. So I'm like, this is. I mean, I think they're gonna have a hit on their hands.
I think what's really cool about this is the first time.
Too bad they got Blaine, though,
That
'cause-
this animation team at Rooster Teeth is able to work on their own project from
From conception.
nothing.
Yeah.
Because Monty Oum, RIP,
Right.
was the creator of Ruby, and I feel like they, had to kind of work through the shadow of his death, and like
Right.
that was complicated. I feel like they did a great job. Season 3 was fantastic. But this is going to be very exciting to see like this group of people that's been working together for. With Gray, the guy heading up animation over there, they've been planning this for years, and it's like every step of the way. I feel like them investing in these big names is them trying to take it to the next level.
It's really fucking cool. It's
I'm
really
excited
cool.
for it.
Me too. Next trailer we're talking about John Wick Chapter 3.
Oh,
Kevin, do we have another image for this?
No.
Okay, it's just this
no, we'll
image.
just keep this up.
What? No, I'm sorry. Yeah, we haven't. Yeah, you go to the next one.
Give me the John Wick.
I misunderstood. I thought you were talking about that.
Sorry.
There
it
we
is.
go. I have still never seen a John Wick movie. It's just like Mission Impossible. I know I need to. I know I'm gonna
I
love
watched John Wick #1 maybe like 6 months ago. It didn't grab me. But but I wasn't paying enough attention. I want to go back.
That's John Wick.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But the trailers look so damn cool.
John Wick is...
Oh my God, this trailer's fucking awesome.
So John Wick is a movie series now that is unabashedly exactly what it wants to be, which is just the perfect, no real story action movie. Great choreography,
Really
great
cool action.
gun fights, all that stuff. Keanu Reeves, kudos to him, actually learned a ton of shit, still taking jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
God bless him. The movie is good in spite of itself almost, and it's almost like a joke. Where you're watching this and you're like, the whole impetus of John Wick, and I'm sure you know this, it's a little bit of a spoiler, but they kill his dog.
I don't think
And
it's
he
a
gets
spoiler.
pissed,
I feel like, yeah.
and he fucking kills everyone. Everyone.
Great.
And then they go, the movie I think was just going to be that movie, and then it got big, and they're like, well, why don't we flesh this whole world out? And the second one is when it really starts to open up, and they created this whole world of like, this underneath the world we live in is this underbelly of like the crime world.
I love,
and they have all these laws and all these like, there's this one hotel where like that's a neutral zone, and if you fuck around in that hotel, other people come, like everyone comes and kills you. There's different gangs. They introduce Lawrence Fishburne's like really weird homeless gang character, and they're super powerful. So it's very much world building. And I'm excited because this one is sort of like or actually probably the end of the trilogy story where we're seeing John Wick on the run. And it's fucking cool, and they got Halle Berry, and it's gonna be dope. And already they're showing him kill people, with Bibles and shit. You're like, yeah, let's kill some people.
I'm all
choking
about
someone to
amazing fight choreography. Like that is probably one of my favorite things in
They
movies.
make this fun.
And it looks so fun watching this trailer. I'm just like, this looks fantastic. I love how ridiculous it is. The guy throwing the knife, it almost hitting him and throwing it back. The shot at the end of him with Halle Berry running with the dogs and them shooting with the dogs, jumping and attacking. I'm like, this is it's a perfect movie.
The shot with him on a horse shooting some guy on a motorcycle.
And and then shout out to the shot of the motorcycles where
With
he's
the
driving
swords.
and everyone comes with the swords.
So
that's,
cool.
That's what I'm saying is they've taken all the sort of stereotypes of gangs, like you know, like the various like what you would think, and they just lead into it.
Yeah,
They go, cool.
good.
This is going to be the gang that like fights with swords. That's going to be them.
That's so
And John
tight.
Wick is just kind of the one through line, and it's cool.
I loved seeing Braun from Game
Yeah,
of Thrones.
I know.
I'm
I got so excited.
Man,
like,
we need to see
him
that guy.
doing
Well,
Well,
stuff.
because Theon was in the first one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he was the
Was he-
shit kid that kills the dog.
Got it. Yeah.
And so
fucking Theon.
yeah, he plays that character perfectly. I think you were like it. Also, you know, shout out to Keanu Reeves, man, just hanging in there,
Yeah.
having a great career still. Look at how fucking good he looks in a suit with a beard.
Very
gotta
blurry
love him.
photo.
You gotta
Very
love
blurry
him.
photo.
Fun fact about Theon that you may or may not know: he is the brother to Lily Allen.
I did know that.
singer.
I
Yeah.
did,
I did know that, which is weird.
All right, Barrett, go ahead and put up the next image. There's a
Oh, man.
Ghostbusters
Who
sneak
the hell saw
peek.
this coming?
What? Out of nowhere. Not connected to the last movie.
Well,
Rumors are it's connected to 1 and 2.
rumors are, yeah, we'll see.
Well,
yeah,
little is
who
known
cares?
about stuff. A lot of speculation. Sounds like they're casting a bunch of teenagers or looking for a bunch of teenagers. Made by Jason Reitman, who's the son of the director of the
Ivan
first
Reitman.
two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason Reitman did Up in the Air, I think it was what it was.
Oh, shit, that's a great
and
movie.
he also did, I want to say he did Juno also.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
Jason Reitman's actually
Yes, he did do Juno.
Jason Reitman's a really good director, and obviously grew up like literally he's in Ghostbusters 2.
Well,
He's
I
one of
talked
the
to-
kids in Ghostbusters 2. So like he is.
Thank you for smoking.
And Thank You for Smoking. So by the way, Thank You for
another
Smoking,
great
if you
movie.
haven't seen, is fucking a phenomenal
So
movie.
good.
This guy knows how to tell a good story, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. Those first 3 movies are all amazing. Up in the Air, Thank You for Smoking, and Juno.
Never saw Labor Day, but I had a hot sex scene with Kate Winslet and Josh Brolin.
Nice.
That's one where he's kind of a criminal, but she's like, I'm kind of attracted to you.
Yeah.
Takes his body. Oh man, make the beast with 2 backs. I haven't seen it, so I'm just making.
Shakespearean quote, huh?
I'm making some shit up. But I mean, this makes sense on a level that scares me.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get
It's
it.
a passing of the torch that should have happened, but we've been burned before.
That's
We've
the
been
biggest
burned
problem.
before.
But what a nice little trailer it
Everything
was.
we've seen so far
teaser.
makes me happy.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool. They understand the things to avoid and they understand the things to lean into. And so far, they're doing that.
Here's what I want out of this movie, okay? Just tell a good story. Treat it with like actual respect. It can't be zany. Just tell a fucking good story that's kind of scary and make kind of a scary sci-fi Ghostbusters movie like the first one. Infuse a little comedy here and there by virtue of the actual actors who will be funny, but make it subtle and just give us a good Ghostbusters story. And for the love of God, don't worry about the mixture of the cast. It could be guys and girls and all sorts of whatever. It doesn't have to be one thing. Just story. Let's focus on the story.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm worried that people are gonna put it a really high bar.
Oh, this is the only thing that's higher than this is if you were to say fucking Robert Zemeckis' kid is bringing Back to the Future. Then you'd be like, fuck you, dude. That's not. This is at like a mark that they can't possibly hit. It's gonna be a little bit of a disappointment, I think. But if they do it.
It reminds me of Force Awakens a lot.
It's absolutely Force Awakens.
Where it's like, okay, there's the prequels, everyone's really upset about it, and it's like, they can't make this better, it's fucked, and it's like, oh, they're doing episode 7, J.J. Abrams, oh shit, so everything's, they're going to be practical, it's shot on film, it's like, it kept going, and then it worked out, so...
I believe this can absolutely work out. I believe that, obviously, Ghostbusters is one of the more protected franchises, but I mean... nothing's ever going to be Ghostbusters 1. And Ghostbusters fans like myself, we don't expect that. We just want a fun continuation of the story. Build more of the world out and tell a different story with it. It's not that fucking hard.
I like
and
it
just
being
give us the
like,
goddamn Ecto 1.
Make it a sci-fi horror movie. Fuck the comedy all entirely.
I mean, it could be, right? I mean, that's the thing. When I say I don't want it to be a comedy, I want it to have comedic elements much like the first Ghostbusters. When you go back and watch that, it's not a zany, slapsticky comedy. It's a story about these guys that are kind of dipshits who have just backed into this kind of scary. I mean, there's some scary shit in that, man. When you see the dogs, when I was a kid, when I saw the fucking Zool, the gatekeeper, and I forget what they're called, but
Gozer, right?
Gozer, yeah, Gozer, the Gozerian. Good evening. No, Gozer's the
the big guy. Oh.
The Zool and anyway, the fucking gremlins they turn into. Those things were terrifying when I was a kid.
Terrifying.
Right? The fucking when the fucking claws came out and grabbed her boob and like all this stuff and pushed her into the fridge. I couldn't go near my fridge for a good half hour. But then I was a fat kid, so I was like, I'll get over this. I'll get over this fear.
But
make it scary, man. Don't make it zany. Just make it scary. Like Steven Spielberg once said this one time, and I thought it was a very fucking telling thing. He was like, if you want to make something like Close Encounters, or you want to make these movies, you got to make them a little scary. Even if it's a kid's movie, it's got to be a little scary, because then there are not expectations, but there are actually stakes, right? Something's at stake. If it's not scary, if it doesn't scare a kid, they're not going to have it's not going to have an emotional impact. Scare us a little bit. Give us a little something crazy. It's a fucking movie about ghosts. Give us a little jump scare here and there. Why not? And don't fucking rely on Bill Murray or Dan Aykroyd to carry this thing.
Yeah.
I don't even need a cameo of them.
Well, Bill Murray doesn't want. No way, no.
Oh, Dan Aykroyd would sell pints of his blood to be in this thing. Bill Murray does not want to be. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care. They had to They probably had to like just put a trail of money from him to the set of the last Ghostbusters movie to get him on that thing. But yeah, that we don't need those guys. That's cool. We'll make a little bit of reference. They have to be in the world. We have to know about Venkman. We have to know about Harold Ramis' Egon and Spangler. All this. We have to know about them, but we don't need the continuation of that story. Like, we get the Ecto 1.
So would you be happy if they just look at the
I would be happy if they just randomly
no.
discovered this technology.
Fettuccine? What was that?
I believe it was the fettuccine.
Yeah, the fettuccine. Yeah.
No, I would be happy if the story was just a new group of people who discover the technology. There's ghosts in their town. They've discovered this, and there's vague references to the other Ghostbusters from New York. Oh, we thought that was it was the 80s, so everyone doesn't think it's real anymore because with time comes, you know.
I don't think that's the kind of thing that you're just like forget. I hope it's
but here's the thing. You do, because you just saw Vice. We just talked about that and how everyone was like, oh, we forgot how we invaded Iraq for weapons of mass destruction. And what happened with that?
Well, I didn't forget about that part of it. Anyways.
Well, I'm saying, but here's the deal. If ghosts, if they beat the ghosts in the 80s and they weren't around.
And they were gone for
a while. People were like, oh, there were a thing, but then new generations would come up like, I don't know if that's a real, you know what I mean? It's been 40 years.
I really hope that it's like, hey, no, it's like this is a giant corporation now, and they are in a small little town that like gets no action, and they're a tiny team that isn't equipped, and suddenly some giant something is coming to attack them, and they have to put it together.
Possible.
Yeah.
I'm pretty stoked for it. I'm not a big Ghostbusters guy at all. The idea is cool. The first one I didn't see until a couple years ago and didn't get it, but I'm excited for this. I feel like they can do it right.
Speaking of other things we're excited for, man, Game of Thrones put out their little teaser. And, oh boy,
I'm kind of split
excited.
on it because on one hand I'm like I wish that we didn't see those characters together again until their final reunion. But at the same time, I'm like,
we're gonna get that.
I know.
I imagine
I don't
episode
think it's gonna take
1
away from it. So it's like that's so cool. Seeing them together for the first time since season 1.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Walking around
so
the crypts.
Cool. The crypt's awesome. I loved the callbacks of the voices that you hear from everyone. Like, there's just so much world in this. It's Game of Thrones is such an accomplishment. I can't wait for the final season. I can't believe there's only 6 episodes left. But the shot of her pulling out Needle, him pulling out the sword, and Sansa just kind of
standing there.
It's like we're waiting for a Jean Grey shit to happen.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I'm so fucking in.
Yep.
I don't need to see anything more about this.
Me neither.
This is a foregone conclusion in my book. This is happening. Stop showing me stuff. Give me the fucking first episode.
The trailer
right now,
very vague and just kind of, just a feeling of things to come.
Yeah,
They're all together. They're going to be fighting.
Because so far for season 8, it is, right?
7.
Season 7 of
7?
Game of Thrones. We got the teaser that was just kind of like the fire versus ice CG shit going on.
With that like weird,
which doesn't tell
wall in
us
the
much.
middle.
We got this, and then we also got
Season
like
8?
one little clip of Jon Snow and Daenerys going to Winterfell.
But here's the question.
Season 7 was the last season.
Season 8. It is.
Yeah,
So here's the question for me, though, and this is Leon Noel 1016 brings us up a chat. Is this trailer something that's actually going to be in the last season?
No, I don't think so. Not at all.
No.
This is totally shot for
promo
this.
shot for.
Just a
Well,
promo
no,
shot.
there's a chance that they go to the crypts at some point.
There's no
they
shot.
will go to the
This-
crypts at some
But
point.
yeah,
This is
this is
gonna
not.
be in.
I don't
This is
think they're
not in
going
the
to come
trailer.
and see
Yeah.
their own burial plots.
No,
like they have here.
definitely not. The statues are made after they die, not before.
I think that's
But
that's
the
what's
plots-
foreshadowing here, though. Is like, are they going to die? What's
Yeah,
gonna
I mean
happen?
that's
Are they
the
gonna
thing.
lose? Yeah.
Are
red
some of them
herring,
going to
man.
die? Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
That's what I love.
It's so exciting.
I feel like it's so. Okay, give me a second to say this.
Breathe. Take your time.
I feel like it's so easy to predict what's going to happen in the final season and
Is
who's
it?
going to die and who's going to live. But the thing is, I feel like it's easy to predict
Who the
the
fuck knows?
opposite of everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, Jon Snow, he's going to die. Or, oh, Jon Snow, he's going to
Gonna be the
live
king.
and going to be the king.
Yeah.
It's like you can predict so much things.
Or-
and that's what scares me is that any which way you shake it, you can predict it. I'm like, oh, that's an easy
How?
prediction. But how are they going to surprise me? How are they going to Game of Thrones me? And like,
Game of
will
Thrones can
they?
do it.
And
No,
I-
they can and they will.
dude, here's how
I
they
know
do
that
it.
they can, but will they?
Yeah, they
Because we're down to such a small cast at this point that I feel like we've already theorized every which way what could happen. Can they fucking surprise us?
How awesome would it be though if winter comes and
They just all die?
They just fucking decimate everyone.
just
Like,
die.
no matter what they do, they just can't get their shit together, and all the infighting. The theme is like the infighting is what really destroyed
Yep.
them because when the what is he called? The White Walkers come, they just fuck
Night
everyone
King.
up. They just fuck everyone up. Daenerys is like, I got one dragon left, and the White Walkers just jump on it and fucking eat it.
That'd be
Just
rad.
Well, they speared the other dragon so easily.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
It's a painful scene.
it's still flesh and scales. And
Well,
shit.
yeah, but like scales on
Well, they
top
had
of
that. Well,
it.
it wasn't that easy. They had that big ass fucking.
No, the dude just came out and was like, okay.
Oh, I thought they had the big like spear thingy.
talking
No,
about the White
that
Walkers.
was. Oh yeah, I'm talking about the whites threw the spear at it.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Now
But yeah, they
now
did use
Well,
the
now they
spear.
got a fucking.
Now they,
Ice
now they
Ice
have a
dragon.
dragon. Yeah.
Now I have a
that.
dragon too.
I don't
Ho, ho,
like.
ho.
I don't like that. I don't like that one bit.
God, this show's fucking
And they broke
cool.
the wall. Man, I cannot wait. What's the release date? I think it's
April
April.
15th, I want to say, and we are
thought it
doing
was
Game
April
of
23rd.
Thrones in review.
God, I can't
which the final
wait.
season.
So
So,
is-
every Monday we're going to be reviewing the show, like just the last episode.
April
of the
14th. You are right.
April 15th will be the debut of Kind of Funny's Game of Thrones final season.
God, I
review.
can't wait. I hope you are caught up because we're gonna be talking about it. Full spoilers. So, Barrett, the last image. Oh man. Now this has been out since Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
God,
What a trailer!
I loved it. I loved it.
Here's my thing.
I can't wait for more of this goddamn universe.
We're at a point now with
Mm-hmm.
superhero trailers that they're all the exact same thing, and it's like not really that exciting,
Mm-hmm.
with the exception of big moments like Endgame, where it's like when the trailer isn't like there was no action in the Endgame trailer. It was just about characters and emotion and all that stuff. So I feel like we judge trailers now in the same way we judge actual movies. But having said that, this is so much better than the Homecoming trailers, and it was made by Sony. This is not a Marvel trailer. This is a Sony Pictures trailer, and I didn't expect
A
much
lot of
from
people
Far
were
From
upset
Home.
about that because they're like, "Oh, there's spoilers." And I mean, do we think that Spider-Man's gonna be dead
Exactly.
after Endgame?
And
Come on, guys, be realistic.
My thing about
also,
Movie was
we don't
confirmed
know.
like 4 years ago.
Well, we don't. Someone was
not
it
fucking
Amy
killing Spider-Man.
Pascal in an interview was like, "Oh yeah, the second movie is going to take place like after
Minutes after,
yeah,
is what was said, and then
and
Kevin
it's like
Feige
that was a
backed it up.
long time ago that someone said that.
But they've also said shit where it's like, oh, like no one's guessed the name for what we know is Endgame.
And that was just
they also said
line.
it's not Endgame, but it was Endgame. Some people lie and all
They're
that.
lying to you.
The thing about the spoilers is I get it. It would have been nice to not have this before Endgame. That's not how the world works. And more than that, it doesn't matter. Because what's spoiled? We don't know. We don't know what happens. We don't know. Like,
also,
how are the scrolls involved? How is all this? We don't fucking know anything about this.
I mean, also, like, it's less about, I appreciate that people don't want anything spoiled, myself included. I'm very much looking forward to Endgame, but I'm not going into Endgame with the expectation that they don't fucking re-snap everyone back in. The more interesting thing for me is how are they going to do it?
it's the journey.
How does that come in, right?
Yeah.
Similar to with Infinity War, where I was like, I know he's going to snap. I know he's going to fucking do it. Of course he's going to do it.
So good when they did.
But that moment where they almost have the fucking gauntlet off his hand, and Peter Quill realizes that Gamora's dead.
God,
you're like, no,
it's so
don't
painful.
fucking know. Like, I know he's gonna go crazy and fuck this up, and he does. And you're like, don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
That's what they're so good at. So it's really, to me, what I'm saying is less about the end destination, more about the journey.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
not about the end game when you really think of it.
It's about the middle game.
But no, this trailer, Far From Home, I thought it was great. We saw a lot.
Well, there were some images. Go ahead, Barrett. Go to the next one. The first thing we see. Dude, Aunt May and Spider-Man, like, she's in it, man.
I love it, dude.
She gets it.
So
Her
rarely
and Happy.
get this type of
I
take
really
on these
enjoyed all that.
characters.
Yeah.
It's so cool that Aunt May knows he's Spider-Man, supports him being Spider-Man.
Yeah, seems to be really
Barrett,
cool with it.
Barrett,
What's up?
I feel like you're the most well-versed in Spider-Man knowledge besides me.
Okay.
When it comes to Aunt May, like, has there been many storylines where she knows he's Spider-Man, and is this supportive?
Not this supportive. Like, we've talked about Ultimate a lot, right?
Yeah.
And Ultimate is my favorite storyline. And she finds out, and like her first reaction is like, "Get the fuck out of my house."
Yeah.
So I don't think I've ever seen, at least stuff I've read.
Does she find out before he dies in Ultimate?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He tells
Way
her,
before.
and then she's like, "Get the fuck out of my house."
Yeah. And what I love about this is it's such a great example of the MCU take on Spider-Man just being fantastic. I've been being like, it's familiar but different in a way that works with the world we created, and introducing her and Happy and like that type of
little
weird
dynamic,
flirtation. It's like, this is just so good.
What just happened there?
Yeah.
So good.
Barrett, let me see the next image. Let's see what we're talking about here.
Also,
just
someone
press
in the
N.
chat, I forget who, Kebabs also pointed out that the end of Spider-Man PS4, Aunt May obviously knows. She reveals at the end of Spider-Man PS4 that
She knew.
She knew.
Spoilers.
Why are you
Finish it
spoiling?
yet.
Why would you do
That
that?
was a
What
big
the
spoiler.
fuck?
There's no reason to do
dude?
that.
I know
Cut your mic.
she kind of sucked in that game anyway. So.
Whoa, Jesus.
Jesus, I guess I don't have to play the rest of it then. Thanks, Barrett.
Oh, you
I'll still
can't
play the
see
rest of the
this
game.
because it's too. No, you can kind of see it on
Nick
there.
Fury's there.
Nick Fury's there.
Cool.
He's being all cool. We're getting introduction into whatever the evolution of Shield is.
And I think when we see this, this is what's making people like, oh, Tony's obviously dead because now it's like, okay.
There's a couple things that people have said, like the giant check from Stark Industries is signed by Pepper Potts. Pepper Potts has been
She's the
CEO,
CEO,
since the end of Iron Man 3, so she would be signing those checks.
And there is the shot of him
Regardless.
flying through the city in front of the Avengers Tower, and you
Yeah,
see
while
like
it's
kind
being
of
reconstructed.
a statue and all that. So that's
I
cool.
didn't see the statue.
Yeah, there's like a statue, like a tribute statue of the fight for New York, but like that's
Yeah.
about the fight for New York,
Right,
it's not
right,
for, Spider-Man. Speaking of that scene, by the way, I really I feel like the CG is still kind of early on this because like trailers usually are, but I like that they went with a different style of him flying through the city.
Right.
We haven't really seen this Spider-Man swinging through Manhattan.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And I like that it looks different. Where the Sam Raimi movies, it kind of did more of the like legs out,
Swinging
curl
forward.
up, like the more gymnast type thing.
Like you're on a swing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, way more loose.
Yeah.
Way more just kind of like jumping around.
Yeah, I mean, there's that shot where like the building in the
He drops his phone.
stupid 5-second trailer thing the building explodes and he jumps out of it.
Oh, yeah,
As
yeah.
he's like falling backward, he goes fly and just
Yeah.
gets himself. So he's a lot. Yeah, it's cool.
looser. I just really
Yeah.
enjoy that. But with Nick Fury, in Barrett again, the Ultimate storyline. I feel like we're kind of getting hints here of what that is. Where Nick Fury kind of, and I don't think they're going to go as intense as the Ultimate comics because in the comics, Nick Fury essentially tells Peter like, "Hey,
I
you're not
own
18 yet, but the moment you're 18, I own you. Like you are."
It's really messed
They
up.
softened it a little up for the Superior cartoon series, Ultimate Spider-Man, where he
Nick,
was just kind of
no.
working with him and grooming him to be, ultimately work for.
You mean
S.H.I.E.L.D.
softened up completely then?
I mean, just like like a fun. It was
Like
a
they
fun,
totally
great,
changed the
better
dynamic.
animation,
Yeah.
cool references to '80s movies. Like I like kind of
That
like.
cartoon
I
is so
like.
bad.
But fun reveal. Him
Yeah.
hitting Ned. That's
Yep.
such a fun character.
Yep. But like, yeah, even with that, like, what a fun way to introduce him back or like to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Barrett, the next image, please. So then we have the elementals. Are they elementals?
So here's the thing: the elementals are essentially not even D-list set of villains in the Marvel universe. And I feel like, and what we see later in the trailer is it's Mysterio using his magic thing
I think
to
so
make
too.
things happen, make himself seem like a good guy. And
But
then
we
turn out
do
being a
have
bad
people
guy.
like that looks a lot like Sandman.
Well, so here's the thing. I'm blocking it a little bit, but you can see the license plate, right? You see it just a little bit there. The numbers on the license plate are, in fact, the first issue that Sandman was seen in.
Yeah.
And then later when we see
go to the
Hydra
next image,
Man.
Barrett. Oh, there's
and
Molten
Molten
Man. I don't remember. I think it was on a taxi as they're running on Molten Man. One more.
All three of them, there's numbers that represent
Hydra
the,
Man. It was on a boat too. That all represent the comics that they were introduced in.
Yeah, so we'll see that. Will Flint Marko be there, or is this just kind of a weird MCU take on?
I think it would be really cool. And I don't want to try to spoil anything, but I do think it'd be cool if it was a Mysterio thing, similar to like
Sinestro. Or
No,
Sinestro.
the guy from Incredibles.
Oh God,
Spectre? No,
Syndicate.
Syndrome.
Syndrome. Yeah.
Similar to Syndrome, where he's making this all happen.
I think that's what it's gonna be.
And in the original Spider-Man, the debut of Mysterio was that.
Yeah. So that's really cool.
So like that's what it's gonna be.
And I'm not 100% sold on Jake Gyllenhaal in this though.
What?
He just kind of weirdly stands out to me.
Barrett,
in
go
this
to the
trailer.
next image. I think.
Look at how hot he is.
He looks so heroic, and like
Look
I
at
just
that
feel
hair.
like the first time I saw this, I was like, "What a dumb like first image of him." And the more I think about what I think the plot's gonna be, it is very much like, "Oh,
I'm the
okay,
hero.
he's coming in here. I'm the most badass person. I'm gonna save everyone. I want all this attention." I'm excited for it.
It's cool,
guys.
and you know, I hope they go with Mysterio's background of him being a stunt double and in Hollywood, and also a special effects master. Like, so cool. Everything about that's very, very cool. And what I'm most interested in, though, is the twist. And what we saw with Vulture, when we saw with Michael Keaton, like that moment, I expect him to have that type of thing in Far From Home. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was making the elementals and it was like Hydra Man, Molten Man, whatever. But then Sandman actually was Flint Marko or something. That, like there is like something where 2 out of 3 of them are fake, but one of them is real.
Yeah, it's possible.
That'd be interesting. I don't necessarily think it needs to have a twist. I mean, it's very on the nose if that's what the story is, but just because Homecoming had a twist, I don't know that this movie needs to. Like, I feel like that's us setting the bar way too high.
It is,
of wanting that reveal moment. Because in theaters, holy crap, when it was like, oh, that's Vulture, everyone in the theaters went.
Absolutely, but I feel like otherwise, I feel like this plot's a little bit too paint by numbers. And if it is what it ends up being, because we just said the plot of this movie. Like, it's incredible.
Yeah.
They're gonna. They need
But
to
is
give us more than
that
maybe?
Would that be bad? Like,
Yes,
if
it
it's
would.
fun? No.
For a
If
movie
it's still fun.
for a movie post Endgame.
See, I feel like they're
Spider-Man
not. I
movie,
feel like they're not showing you the real plot. I feel like this is just like going to be a B plot, kind of a B plot thing. But I also think a lot of the fun of this movie is going to come from that Nick Fury Spider-Man dynamic, where he clearly gives him the new suit. He gives him the all black ninja looking suit.
Oh, which Barrett, go to the next image. There it is.
That's fucking rad.
Oh, it's so
Fucking
hot.
hot.
That's cool as fuck. So like all that shit's gonna be really, really fun. And then obviously all the kids' dynamics are gonna be back from the first one, including Flash Gordon, who has the best line in this whole trailer. At the very end, he's like, "Why do you like Spider-Man so much?" Like, he's really cool. He's got a cool suit. He's like protects the neighborhood. He's a cool guy. Oh, what's up, Dickwad?
So good.
I really respect him. What's up, Dickwad?
There's an international version of the trailer that has a lot more footage and has alternate
always get
takes
scared
of a
to
couple
watch
things,
international trailers.
including that line. And he doesn't say Dickwad. He says like something that's a lot more
PC.
like G.
Yeah, that was a good line.
Yeah.
Or he's like, "What's up,
Yeah,
Dickwad?"
really, really, really good.
It's completely disrespectful.
Yo, so like Tony Stark's dead, right?
I don't know. I'm 50-50 on it.
We don't know that.
It's also possible that Tony's like, that's the thing with this, right? Is Tony Stark was in Spider-Man: Homecoming, but he wasn't like, he was more just the mentor character. It's very, he's in Paris or Venice, right? And they're touring around Europe in this supposedly or whatever. It's not Beyond the Shadow of a Romance. It's Tony Stark still dealing with something else, and Nick Fury is like, hey, this is my opportunity to fucking get in and like kind of own you a little bit.
He could have retired too.
There's
like,
so
we
many
might
different
get
options with
him
Tony.
being the man on the chair or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, he fucking did.
Here's my thing.
Here's the thing: if he's dead, is he an AI now?
Maybe.
Like, you know what I mean? Because he
think
doesn't
that's
have
inevitable.
a
I think it's inevitable that at some point Tony Stark will be an AI.
I think so too.
What I want to
happens in
see,
the comics, Nick.
what I want to see with
assumed as much.
these movies is, and they've already been kind of setting this up, is building towards the Sinister Six. We've never seen them in movie form yet. With the introduction of Vulture and Shocker and Scorpion in Homecoming, and now we get Mysterio and potentially Sandman, potentially these other guys. There's been rumors of Chameleon being a part of this. I don't know how far they're going, but I would love to see them build all these characters and then straight up get a Sinister Six movie that's from their perspective. Like, imagine us getting a villain movie.
That's so hard to do.
But that's the thing.
That's so hard.
Marvel's never done a villain movie.
Yeah.
It would be really
cool.
interesting
It'd be really
for them
cool.
to do it. I don't think it'll ever happen.
Because I don't think we're ready for Sinister Six and Spider-Man 3. Like, I think
No.
we need a movie. Let's
Well,
get
we
it.
need we gotta
I want
introduce Doc Ock
and I
first.
feel like Sinister Six, a movie that's just that, starring, like, where Doc Ock is the main guy and he's getting all of them together and, like,
The only way to do that is how they did that animated Suicide Squad movie, which I thought was really, really good. Which is you take the bad guys and pit them against the even worse bad guy, and even that, and then you have the fun dynamics of like, are they going to fuck each other over? But they have to be. They can't be heroes who are just, when told from their perspective, are like, oh, they're just misunderstood the entire time. They're not. They're still villains.
Yeah.
So you have to pit them against someone even bigger in the universe that no one else can deal with, like a Doctor Doom or something like that. You know.
I don't want villains like made into heroes. I don't want villains.
I don't want them made into heroes.
So
at all.
Tim,
I want this to be an actually
I
good
want
bad guy
also
movie.
from like Ultimate though, like there's the Sinister Six like book where they like kidnap Peter and make him like be part of the Sinister
That's
Six.
right.
Mm.
And that's
like,
really like when
Yeah.
Nick Fury's really introduced as a character.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Also worth noting, though, just checking the IMDb page. I don't know if this is probably not spoilers at all, but that name's still on there. Loving it.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say that? It doesn't really matter. It's
Probably
on the
not.
page.
Let's see.
Michael Keaton's still in the movie, so maybe that'll be a flashback. Maybe
Oh
they'll
yeah, I'm sure there'll be a cut scene where they're taking
post-credit scene or
Mysterio
something like
over
that.
to the
And
same
he's in the
prison.
same jail. He's like, "What's
and
up,
like
man?"
he's like, hey man, me and Scorpion are friends now.
Yeah.
we should be friends.
Man, there's so much cool shit. Now,
How awesome would it be if Vulture was the ringleader, though, and not Doc Ock? Because you got Michael
Yeah,
Keaton.
see that's the thing. I could totally see that happening. Plus he knows who Spider-Man is.
And he already.
what if Mysterio's not a bad guy?
What? Maybe.
Ooh,
Maybe.
Tim.
What if he's not a bad
That's a take I haven't heard at all.
Tim, what if he's not a bad guy in this movie? You know what I mean?
What if
If he
he's
spends
like
this
the end
whole
of,
movie- yeah.
It's like the end of Doctor Strange where Chiwetel Ejiofor is like, fuck this, I'm gonna be a bad guy now.
Yeah.
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 You never know. That was a cool.
That's
transition.
interesting. That's a bold statement.
Yeah.
That's a bold statement that at first I hated, but now it's growing on me.
It's really turning
Now
me on.
it's growing on
I
me.
gotta tell you, I got a quasi chub.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
What up?
Quarter chub.
Okay, let's stop because I was about to transition over to something.
Do it, doggy dog.
Well, no, now we have to wait like 20 seconds. Did you guys like this trailer?
Well, I didn't
I
swear.
love the trailer. Oh my god, more than anything, I loved the use of the music. We finally get the Spider-Man theme song,
Bum, bum,
orchestra.
bum.
All I want, there's somebody like obviously with Homecoming, the Marvel Studios logo had that amazing rendition of it that we used for the Spider-Man in Review intro. But somebody on YouTube made a remix with a real orchestra that kind of like was what if that was in the score throughout the movie and they scored like the fight scenes with it. And all I want is a fight scene of Spider-Man swinging around with that epic version playing. Oh,
Yes.
so
you think
cool.
we're gonna get it?
I don't know. I've read conflicting reports of people saying that no, this is the score, and other people saying no, this is just for the trailer. I don't know. Love the use of Ramones again, continuing that kind of vibe and theme.
So good, such a good vibe.
Yeah, it's
And
awesome.
Zendaya, amazing. Mary
Yeah.
Jane, love or MJ
Yep.
at least.
Yeah.
Love that. Think it's so cool.
So weird that her name is different. Like, what's her actual name in the? Because MJ's the nickname, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll look it up right now. Hold on. Gersh, here we go.
It's just such an interesting
Michelle
little-
Jones.
Michelle Jones.
is the name of her character now, not Mary Jane
Cool.
Watson.
Great.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I love it.
It doesn't really matter. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Now now time for an ad.
There it is. There
My
it is.
bad. Words are hard.
You're all good, man.
All right. This video is sponsored by SkillShare. SkillShare is an online learning community for creators with more than 25,000 classes with more than 25,000 classes in design, business, and more. Premium memberships gives you unlimited access so you can join the classes and communities that are just right for you and your New Year's goals. Whether you want to fuel your curiosity, creativity, or even career, Skillshare is the perfect place to keep you learning and thriving in 2019.
I've been doing that. It's been true. Skillshare, big fan of the site. A lot of tutorial stuff. I keep telling the stories of learn After Effects stuff, learn some Premiere stuff. It's just super cool. I love, like, you learn these little techniques that you get to take with you into your next projects and stuff. It's right up your alley, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is, look, if you want to learn something, this is a great resource for that, and there's no excuse to not go out and utilize it. I learned After Effects by looking at online tutorials, and if I had resources like this available to me, I'd be even better than I am today. Wow. And that's just the way it goes.
I've always wanted to learn how to use After Effects. I do some of the lower thirds here, but it just any more than just changing the text, too complicated.
Yeah. Well,
but it's just cool that,
where
like,
could you go, Kevin, to help that?
I was gonna mention that Skillshare is also super affordable. An annual subscription is less than $10 a month. Join more than 7 million creators learning with Skillshare. The first 500 of my subscribers to use the link in the description will get 2 months free.
Ooh, you learn a lot in 2 months.
Yeah.
Put every day into that bad boy.
So go to skl.sh/kindafunnymorningshow to start your trial now.
The link will be in the description. That's skl.sh/
lot going on with that.
Funny morning show. Skillshare.
Yeah. Barrett, let me get that next image right now, because now it's time for our big
to
topic.
rate that glass.
You gotta rank that glass.
We're gonna talk about Glass.
rank
We
that
all
Glass.
went to watch it
We
yesterday.
did. We shared a common experience of watching Glass
We
in the
sure
Dolby
did.
Theater.
In Dolby,
Did.
beautiful cinema.
Dolby
what
doesn't
are-
super do anything. We're gonna spoil at the end.
Okay.
Not now. Now we're just
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
talk
So,
surface
whoa,
level top
actually,
stuff.
Because we talked about this before, but then I forgot what we came down on. Do you have other segments in the show?
I have 2 more other segments. You want me to move it
We
around?
should, we should do the other segments,
it.
so then we can do the review and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
tell
yeah.
people it's spoilers. So if they want to bounce, we end the show out with spoilers.
Got it. That's a smart call.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that, folks. So instead, let's pivot to out now. What's out on your favorite streaming services? Not much. Netflix is the only people that like had things that I was like, oh, this is cool. Also Hulu, I guess, with the fire. What was the fire?
It's Fire Fraud.
Fire fraud on Hulu.
Fantastic documentary.
You watched it?
Oh
so
my
good.
God, such a good time.
Are you planning to watch the Netflix
Yes, I
one,
am.
Fire, the greatest party that never happened?
What a great,
It's a great name. Great name. Also on Netflix, American Gangster came out.
American Gangster.
Yeah. It's a good movie.
yeah.
With
Good
the
movie.
Really good
soundtrack
movie.
by Jay-Z.
That's right.
Fun fact here is Jay-Z, you know, one of the greatest rappers of all time, kind of hit a slump. He put out the Black album and it was super good, but then he retired. He came back a couple years later with Kingdom Come, and everyone referred to it as old
Great
man
comic.
rap. Where it was just like, yo, no one wants to hear you talking about like your taxes and shit. Like, this is not what people want
I'm
from
interested
you.
in taxes.
But it would have been super fake for Jay-Z to be rapping about his like gangster roots.
lifestyle.
So that's why, linking up with American Gangster, he was able to make an album that was from the perspective of the characters in the movie. Pretty cool.
That's really cool. Did not know that. A couple other things that are out right now is The Punisher Season 2. Did you guys know that was coming out?
Yeah.
I thought they canceled that.
No.
No, they're
Season 2
they're
is
about to
out
cancel
yesterday.
it.
Or well,
gonna.
today.
They're gonna.
Yeah, they're gonna. A movie called I.O. that looked interesting. I watched the trailer. It's really weird, like post-apocalyptic world. Check it out if you're into post-apocalyptic world.
Isn't someone cool in that? I thought there was like a semi-big name in that movie.
I don't think it was a big name. I think it was a minor name. But moving on, movies out in theaters near you. Glass is the only movie that I put on this list. There's a couple other movies out, but Glass
Anthony
is really
Mackie.
the only one worth mentioning.
As in IO. Yeah, Anthony Mackie's in
Is he
it.
a big name?
Yeah, he's Falcon.
No, I know he's. Would you say Falcon's a big name?
No, I mean, he's known for that.
Yeah.
Enough to get him in a movie that's made by Netflix or bought by Netflix,
Yeah.
presumably.
All right, and then my last section before we talk about Glass is going to be reading some of your submissions for your favorite movie of 2018. Tyler Durden.
How can they submit?
Oh, you can submit by going to patreon.com/kindafunny at the $5 tier, the bronze tier. Submit there. Next week's thing I'm asking for is please help me decide what movie to watch this weekend, next weekend. So
Yeah.
let me know what you're watching, whether it be on any of the streaming services or in movie theaters. What did you watch recently that people aren't talking about? And let me know.
Yeah. So Patreon members at the bronze membership or above, write in to let Kevin know what he should watch next weekend. Just like you did this week with your votes for 2018 movie of the year. Kev, what are the people saying?
Starting with Tyler Dermond. My favorite movie of 2018 is Black Panther. It's phenomenally shot. The action is fun. The soundtrack's insanely good. The performances are stellar. It's a cultural impact for the black, and its cultural impact for the black community and strong women is next level. Can't say enough in 140 characters. Also, shout outs to Spider-Verse. A great pick. Another interesting one. I picked movies that didn't necessarily
Make our list.
Yeah, make our list. So my favorite film of 2018 is Thunder Road, a beautifully crafted, heart-wrenching, dark comedy that makes you cringe, laugh, and cry simultaneously for an hour and a half. Writer, director, and lead actor James Cummings is a force to be reckoned with. That really makes me want to watch that movie.
Yeah. Sounds cool.
Yeah. And then Mel Felker?
Mel Felker.
Mel Felker.
She's the one that wrote in with the idea to do The Facts of the Furious. So thank you for that.
My number one in 2018 was Annihilation. This movie blew me away from start to finish. It was interesting, beautiful, and suspenseful. I was dumbstruck at the end.
Good movie.
I really like that movie. The more I think about it, the more it's like, that was a good movie.
Man.
That was
Garland knows what he's fucking doing.
Yeah.
Not that
And
dude
what a
about all
complicated
sci-fi. Everyone
movie.
go see his movies.
Yeah. Matthew Frisch says, my number one is A Star is Born because I teared up multiple times in that movie for different reasons. Powerful film. Makes me really want to watch it. A lot of people saying good things
You should
about
watch it. I liked it.
Yeah?
It made my list.
It made your list. Yeah.
It
I'm surprised by that.
4 or 5 on my list.
Has Joey seen it yet?
No, Joey's a monster. Joey's a monster. It must be stopped.
And then the last one I'm going to do is Nick DeMarco. My top
Not a real
movie
name.
for 2018, to my surprise, was Roma. Alfonso Cuarón delivered an absolute banger of a movie. It was deeply personal film for him, and it shows in just about every way, from the fantastic cinematography to the plethora of emotional performances and moments. Another movie that, like, I want to watch that this weekend. It's been on my list, and it looks like it's gonna be hard to watch emotionally.
Intense. So intense.
You know what movie I'm trying to watch this weekend?
I'm listening.
Happy Death Day.
Oh,
I
the
gotta watch
trailer
the
for
first
that
one.
looked amazing.
Wait,
I know
Happy
we watched
Death Day or Happy Death Day
One.
to you?
I haven't
you
seen
wanna
one.
watch one?
2 is Valentine's Day.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I want to watch one too. So we should watch that together, but like separately because I don't want to come over.
Yeah.
That just takes so much effort.
I get it.
But you know what's sad is that the trailer fucking spoils the first one.
Yeah, but who
fuck? That's
cares?
not what
Again,
this
it's
is
about the
about.
journey.
I know. Fuck.
All right.
Sorry, got a call from my wife.
Is it
Glass.
time to rank that ass? Let's rank that glass.
Rank the glass.
There it is. Were they born? Whatever.
So we watched Glass yesterday.
We did.
Yeah. Now, did you guys rewatch any of the other movies to get yourself caught up?
Hell no.
I watched Unbreakable for the first time all the way through. I've seen like bits and pieces on TV growing up. I knew a lot of it. Rewatched that and then watched a recap of Split because like Split is still kind of fairly new and fresh in your mind because it wasn't too long ago. Yeah. Which is something impressive to think about this movie for how good it is for how quick it was made, I think.
I did not. I watched Unbreakable probably about a year ago. I just got
that's not too long.
once
Yeah.
the trailer for this or we started realizing this was happening. I'm like, I'm gonna go back and watch Unbreakable. And it's all it's funny because watching these movies now in the current climate of where Marvel and DC all having movies coming out every fucking 2 months, it makes them better, I think, because it's a different take on. It's like a more realistic, dark, fucked up take on superheroes and like what they would really be in today's society. So
I feel the opposite.
Really?
Yeah, I feel, especially watching Unbreakable, like I can imagine the place and time then of where superhero movies, or just not even movies, superheroes in mainstream culture being at, them being like a lot more impactful. But we have movies that have such depth of character and such great rules and world that I feel like this is kind of light on all of that.
Oh no, I mean definitely is. I'm saying I feel like all of the Marvel movies coming out being really tight, really understanding what these movies are, in my opinion, like I don't know. It makes me almost forgive Unbreakable for like what it was back then, and kind of look at it and go, "Wow, you were trying something really, really cool. It just didn't work necessarily back then."
Yeah, I don't
but
know.
I like it in
work.
context now.
Yeah, like I've always heard amazing things about Unbreakable. I remember when I watched it when it came out, I was like, "This movie doesn't do it for me," and I think that's partly it's a very slow movie. Very slow. But it's also a very powerful movie. I think it has really phenomenal scenes and like the character dynamics between him and his son, him and his wife, him and Mr. Glass are beautiful.
Yep.
Really beautiful. And that ending moment where he's like, I think it's time for you to shake my hand is, wow.
It's real.
Very real.
It gets you.
Yeah.
Because watching it a couple nights ago, I was just like, okay, I see where this movie's going. And again, I had never seen the full thing.
Yeah.
And I thought I knew more than I did. So when that happened, I was like, whoa, this is really damn cool. Really damn cool. But it goes back to what I'm saying, where it's like, as cool as it is, it feels more like an M. Night Shyamalan twist movie than it does a good superhero movie.
What's this, Unbreakable?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any of these, but Unbreakable specifically.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like an M. Night Shyamalan movie, and that's where I think when you put it in context to all three of these, that's where I feel like.
Sorry, you're talking about Unbreakable.
Unbreakable,
right now?
yeah. I feel like Unbreakable and Glass feel very M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
Split, on the other hand, I think is the standout of the trilogy, where that movie just stands alone on its own. And until, I mean, obviously the big spoiler, the big twist there was that it's part of the Unbreakable universe.
Yeah.
Which, had it not been that, I would have been like, this is just a fucking cool, fucked up, interesting movie.
Yeah.
Like we don't like it's just fucked up.
It didn't
and
need
cool.
to be that, but
it
it
did not
was,
need to be that.
It did add that little
I do
extra.
feel like
though.
that made it amazing.
Yeah.
It took it up to the next level and
yeah.
definitely made it memorable and tied it into a bigger thing where it got me very excited to see what was coming next. But having said that, like James McAvoy is the fucking best thing in all of these movies.
So
Anna Taylor-Joy is awesome. Their dynamic on screen. Is fucking
she
great.
wasn't that like I didn't.
She was underutilized in Glass.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
But in Split, she was very, very like.
Oh.
Are we spoiling the ending with Split?
We can talk about Split, but yeah, let's keep the
so
spoilers.
What
off
I like
Glass
about Split was it's a tight, solid movie, and in that, like at the end of Split, which I was reminded in Glass, I forgot how that ended, and it ended in a specific way that was very much indicative of what the Beast character was all about. And I thought that was a cool tie. I didn't see that coming. I was like, oh, that's pretty fucking cool. And I like that she has that sort of like Stockholm syndrome relationship with James McAvoy, and they carry that into this.
I didn't realize that maybe I forgot. I thought when he leaves her, I didn't realize she had like kind of positive feelings towards him.
Well, I think she empathized with him. I think that that was part of the powerful or the well craftedness of that character is that he has these split personalities because he was so abused.
Yeah.
And what happens when you're that abused and you have to develop a defense mechanism? What does that look like when taken to the extreme?
Right.
Right. What does that look like when it is like this character, the Beast, if you were to paint it in a different light, he is supposed to be the person who is the protector of the broken, the people who are fucked up, the people who have been abused. But he takes it just that one step further and he wants to fucking kill everyone who's not broken or prove to them that they need to be broken, right?
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool.
Cool stuff, man. I really feel like getting into Glass now, without spoiling things, I feel like this movie was as good as it possibly could have been. Having said that, it's not as good as Split, nowhere close.
Nowhere close.
Definitely, we all walked out of the movie, we were all like, that was cool. We had issues with it, but there was a lot of things. This to me is fan service the movie. And that means that it can never be a great movie. That's by definition with fan service, that's how that stuff works. But having said that, I feel like this movie needed to be fan service. It's what it was. I love movies that are in a universe. I love that M. Night Shyamalan, in classic him fashion, he's had his ups, he's had his downs. Overall, I'm a fan of him and his work.
Yeah.
A lot of downs.
Well, he's had bad downs, but his highs are so high.
See,
like Sixth Sense is a phenomenal movie.
Yeah.
The Happening, not good.
No.
Very bad.
I really liked what he's been doing,
middle of the road.
but like the thing is, when there is twists that work, they're really cool, they're really satisfying, and I love the twist of this being like, oh, it is a bigger universe. And so when this movie was announced, it was one of those ones where I'm like, well, I don't think we'll ever see that. And we saw it a lot earlier than I think any of us expected. And really, all this is we're making a universe out of two movies that shouldn't be in the same universe. And it kind of shows in many ways, but I feel like they succeeded in that. And from the get-go of this movie, without spoiling things, there's so many moments that you get where you're like, oh my God, this is literally just like, remember that, remember that, remember that.
Yeah, see,
awesome.
But see, that's my biggest problem with this movie is it's fan service for for fans who don't necessarily need that fan service. Like I'm a relative fan of this. I'm sure there are much more hardcore fans of Unbreakable than me, though I can't imagine they're that much more hardcore because it wasn't that popular of a movie to begin with. So like why infuse all of this stuff into this movie for fans who just want to like kind of see how this is going to continue?
Because they know that everybody that watched Split that loved it is going to go back and watch Unbreakable.
Right, but I
think
think the problem with this is that I like Split because it was a tight, well-made movie.
Yep.
I go into this, and what we're getting here is I enjoyed this movie, I should say that, but it's a mixed bag. It's way too much stuff in the salad. It's just, I didn't need literally 30 minutes of this movie could have been cut out, and I would have been fine
My
with it.
biggest problem is this movie is, I think, more similar to Unbreakable, where it's
way too similar to Unbreakable.
Long and slow, and it's too bad because Split was so, like, it was a tight story that, like, was awesome.
Kept you riveted.
And this had a lot of great moments.
I think
but
the
at
big
the same
problem
time,
with the
just
pacing of this movie is it starts so strong and you're immediately introduced
And
to
you're in,
the
and it's
Split
cool.
character and the Unbreakable character, and it's fast. Then we get an hour and a half, it feels like, in the middle. That's
The
just
second
like,
act is
oh my
so
god,
fucking
and then an awesome third act
long.
that is like go. But
Yeah.
it's like it's rare that the second act of a movie is the bad
so
one.
But it's also very rare that, like, and this is I think where this movie unfortunately missed the mark, is that it builds tension in the first act and then completely dissolves that. For an M. Night Shyamalan movie, there is a good hour and a half of this where you're not bored. You're just like, what's going to happen here?
Yeah.
And these characters, like, are fucking fascinating characters with great actors. Like, why are we
good
not?
actors.
This should have been a cat and mouse game. If you want to see this done well, by the way, go back and watch the last season of Daredevil, where you have a mastermind character who's stuck in jail, and you're more terrified of him than you are of anything else in the story because he's so smart, and we just don't necessarily get that in this, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like it fizzles out to a point where, not like a little after halfway through the movie, I was like, where's this going?
Yeah, what
Do
the
I
fuck?
care?
Why are we still here?
And it's like, oh, what's the twist going to be? There's going to be a twist, and then some twists are introduced, and you're like, okay, but that was easy. That can't be it. But like by the point that I'm thinking about all this, I'm like, I shouldn't be thinking this while watching
the
this
movie should be going.
But I do think that it ended in a way that I'm like, they got me. It's not the coolest twist, but it's good enough.
Yeah.
Want to get into spoilers?
Well, let's just overall. Would you recommend people watch this movie?
I would totally recommend people watch all three of these movies.
Yep. That's my recommendation too. If you like 1 and 2, or if you've seen Split, watch Unbreakable and then watch this movie. I think together they make a nice little package. Nick?
I agree. It's not a perfect movie, and I don't think it's the best of the series by far, but I think it's enjoyable, and I think it's a fun conclusion to the trilogy, and it's worth watching.
Yeah. Honestly, I put it above Unbreakable. I think
Yeah, that's just because John McAvoy is so good.
Yeah.
He's so good.
overutilized, I think, though, for as good as
Way
he is. We'll get to that in a
overutilized.
second.
Yeah,
Way
he was in it
fucking
quite a bit.
overutilized.
All right, so now it's time for spoilers.
James
so
McAvoy, by the way.
yeah, you're right. You're right, James McAvoy. Thank you.
Well, who was that?
I was saying John.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if your name is James, you can't go by John.
All right, Nick's got me there.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I don't think that's true.
Any
John?
name that starts with a J, you can go
They
by
all
another-
mix together?
Yeah, exactly.
Call him
All right,
Phil.
well,
Atlanta.
we're about to go into spoilers, so if you haven't watched the movie, you can leave now. Or if
Come
you want
back
us to
later.
spoil it, yeah, but come back
Pause
later
this.
after you have watched the movie.
Pause this. Keep it up on your laptop. Plug your laptop in so it doesn't run out. Go see the movie. Come back and listen to the rest of this. We'll wait.
Yeah.
All right, time for spoilers. Tim?
Yes. The big twist was cool. I didn't see it coming. I don't think it was presented the best
It
way.
was terribly set up. And
Wait,
and
what
was-
would you say the big twist is?
The big twist being essentially that there is a Hydra / Shield
secret
out
organization.
there
Yeah.
that is out there to hunt the good and bad guy
Yeah.
supers that come up.
I like-
to make sure the world never knows that superheroes exist.
Otherwise, they would be all over the place.
I
And
love-
madness.
Because it is
I love
the
that
Dark Knight
reasoning,
mentality
yeah.
of if there's a good guy, there must be a bad. If there's a bad, there must be a good.
So they just
Cool.
keep the balance. I really like the reason behind it. I hated the execution.
Yeah.
Hated the execution.
Not supported at all.
No.
You know what this movie smacks of? It smacks of, we have a first draft, let's go film it.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. It's like, this movie needed to be edited in the script. It needed to be rewritten. And then the editing of itself, the actual editing of it needed to be way, way better. They should have taken that editor out and be like, let's put a guy in that actually, like, this movie did not need to be 2.5 hours long. We should have.
It was 2 hours and 8 minutes, I think, long, right?
God, it just felt like
Yeah, it felt like
fucking
it. It
ever.
felt like
Yeah,
it.
it just felt like
it really
fucking
could have been
yeah.
tighter because really, without exaggerating, I would say about 45 to an hour of minutes happened in this movie. Then the rest of it was recuts showing the same things from different scenes over and over that didn't add to the story. Why did we need to hear him say first name, Mr.? last name, Glass, more than once in the same scene.
I don't know. They did a flashback. They did a flashback to that
scene
5 minutes later.
Why?
Why do we need to see him going back into the security room?
Yeah.
Which was a weird scene. Like, they had already escaped. They were already outside. And then all of a sudden they show him back in the security room. Like, how the fuck did he get back in there?
I think it was to show that there was another plan going on.
I appreciate
was to give hints
that.
to it.
But here's what they didn't do well. Is that what they really needed to nail was Mr. Glass's mastermind plan for this whole thing. And it just falls flat at the end. It's too tacked on. It's not supported. They didn't They beat you over the head with setting up all these cameras at the beginning of this movie. So you're like, okay, well, I get that he's going to do something with this shit because we see 15 shots of people setting. Then she walks in and goes, "I've set up a bunch of cameras for you." Like,
we know.
No shit, you're a fucking prison. You're a mental institute. Of course.
Well, also they don't use the cameras when he starts like rolling around.
Yeah, they never
like getting out of the room and stuff.
Yeah,
and like it's like, well, check the camera. Because you have cameras going.
But they did use them.
No, well, later they used them, and we see that he like purposely goes in the middle of the room and like rolls around dramatically to get their attention.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, why didn't they just shoot him up with the thing that had him all doped up in the beginning?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like when they figured out, oh, he's still moving around. Let's use this laser to make him not a genius anymore.
Well, I think
but first, let's shoot him up so he can't move.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of the stuff just didn't. It just wasn't as tight as I wanted it to be. All of the elements are there. It's just the way it was presented, like too long, meandering in parts. Why the fuck did we see so much of the orderlies? Why the fuck did we see so much of James McAvoy's character? There's like a scene where he just goes to like 15 different characters. I'm like,
it's not
cut
a scene.
this out.
There's not a scene.
No, there's like three scenes.
Cut it out
that,
because the more time, and
I liked it.
And the biggest problem with this movie, the biggest fucking issue that I have with it is that this scene never actually fucking happens. Look at Samuel L. Jackson in this scene. He's coherent. He's talking in the trailer. He's not that way in that scene. I looked so far. I was like, oh, I'm gonna look forward to the scene because we're finally gonna get the three of them like that back and forth of like, don't let him out, let me out, whatever. Never happens.
Yeah, we never get
the entire fucking time.
Anything between.
We don't get a shot of them. Like what I thought this was gonna be was I thought it was gonna be a lot like I want to say The Killing Joke or whatever the hell it was, where like Joker's kind of sedated until he realizes Batman's back, and then he comes back into fucking like, oh, I finally have an adversary. We didn't get any of that.
That's Dark Knight Returns.
I agree with you because I wish that we saw interaction between them, but I do enjoy the misdirection of the trailers because I like that type of thing. I like being surprised by the movies.
Sure.
And the whole movie they're building up that essentially his master plan is for them to go to fight at the building and whatever. And like I believed it. So the fact that like we never ended up there, and because like when they first showed the cameras, I was like, okay, obviously this is coming into play.
Right.
But like when they start talking about the master plan, I did get that thing of like, oh, this is fucking cool. We're not seeing the tower fight. We didn't need to. See, I liked that.
This is unfortunately a criticism of the movie, though. We got to that point. I was like, I hope they don't fight at this fucking tower.
I don't want to be in this movie. I don't want to be here another 30 minutes.
First off, the fight scenes were boring as shit.
Yeah,
no.
Second off, the pacing of the fight scenes were terrible, and they just lamented on these shots of them doing these superhero things, and I was like, why are these shots so long? And then at the end, I'm like, oh, okay,
it was
we want to show those again,
yeah.
but didn't need them to be that long. We could have showed them later in the movie being that long, right? In the actual cut of the action scene,
could have just
see him
been
bending
like,
the bar
for way
First
too
off,
long.
he doesn't look like he's bending. He does actually look like he's a dude that's kind of strong.
Well, someone's getting eaten.
Yeah,
like or just. You know,
and my other biggest problem with this is like, would this footage of these people fighting really convince the world they were superheroes? No,
not at all.
Not in any way, shape, or form. People are like, okay, so that guy's really strong. He can bend a bar. Oh, he's punching him against a fucking truck. By the way, if you push someone really hard against the aluminum side of a fucking truck, it's probably gonna bend.
Yeah,
it's not gonna really.
Well, the whole truck like moved, but the fact is, all that could be done with special effects. And if something's on the internet, that's what people are gonna say.
I think if your master plan was really to have the entire world see it, it needed to be live, it needed to be streamed, it needed to be at those fucking towers.
Yep.
This just fell flat, and what it smacked of was we only have $30 million when we need $200 million to make this scene amazing, and it just didn't work.
This movie felt like one episode of Death Note drawn out into 2 hours, and it's like it
felt like a Netflix movie. That's what this movie
it did. It did. Yeah,
feel like
it feels like a Netflix movie.
One of my biggest problems with this movie is that like it suffers from the bad M. Night Shyamalan movies, where it's like setup's good enough, and then that third act just doesn't carry well.
I liked the third act. I just feel like there was. I wish they supported it better in the second act, which would have made the third stronger because there are moments, especially like the last moments where we're all at the train station.
Oh God,
we're the main characters. They went way too hard into like, well, we set up this comic world, so now we have to stick by the rules of all of it. Like,
also, they did the thing that I hate most with writing. Right, is that they just we were talking about not supporting these things. They introduce an element in the third act of the movie, which is like these tattoos that we haven't seen at all.
Yep.
It's not like we saw. If it had been one thing, like if you wanted to support that, Sarah Paulson, we should have seen that. Someone should have said, "Hey, what's that tattoo? Like, that's the cool tattoo. What is that?" Right? And then research what that tattoo is, and then they introduce that tattoo later, and then finally you're seeing other people with a tattoo. Holy shit, there's a conspiracy. So by the time we get to the third act of the movie, it's a fucking supported that when everyone stops in the restaurant, it's a really cool thing. Yeah. And that should have been the very end of the movie, by the way. Also, which is that she's in this restaurant and one guy leaves, everyone stops and they look and they say, "How did it go?" And she goes, "I beat them," or whatever. Yeah. That would have been really cool, but we saw that already. You're like, that's fucking dumb.
Yeah, I loved the idea of that, their team of like, we're stopping superheroes and all that stuff. But I agree, like the moment that we saw the Clover tattoo from the guy that shot him, you're like,
it would have been cool if we had a hint of what it was.
What's this supposed to be? And we're
I knew exactly what it was. I knew exactly what it was. A dumb secret organization.
Yeah, but so the thing, I knew
that's why the fuck would secret organizations have tattoos? It's the dumbest fucking thing possible.
But for me, it was when we saw that, the slow zoom out to show the guy, my thing was, who is
this
guy?
Yeah,
that's exactly. I was like,
you saw me,
oh, this is going to catch something else.
It's no one.
Is it going to be someone cool from Split or from, no, because there are no other characters.
Let me throw a fucking pitch at you guys, all right? Because I was thinking about this and I was like, why do I like this movie? It's for fan service. It's not a great movie. It is a great fan service movie, I would argue. But I wish they went fucking further, and here's how. Can you imagine?
Wick. It's a John Wick tie-in.
Can you fucking imagine, guys, if instead of having the end scene of them at the damn train station, and it like everyone in the train station like looking at their fucking
instead they're in the building, some dude's working on a chemical, and he's like, if we introduce this into nature.
So kind of. You're there, and it cuts, and you see people watching the different news things, and then you see Mel Gibson on a farm. Fucking see it, and then it cuts, amazing. And it's Mark Wahlberg doing some shit, and just go through all of the fucking.
It just cuts.
Really as stupid as it is, like, that's what this movie is. It's fan service. It's dumb fucking.
I was hoping
all connected.
It would have been cool if they cut to Mark Wahlberg and he was just punching a tree. You know, like fuck you trees.
They killed everyone to France. Yeah, John Leguizamo's there.
Oh, still alive. John Leguizamo's in The Happening. He dies.
I saw like the fast 10 minutes of Happening.
Sticks himself. It was really sad.
Yeah, but I would fucking like mark the fuck out.
Now we sound.
People in the chat are saying you guys sound like you really hated this movie.
Yeah,
like,
so I was about to say that we sound very negative.
We're being very critical.
But yeah, we're being super critical because I felt
it was enjoyable.
I had really high
fun.
Expectations.
Yeah.
It was enjoyable. It just didn't meet those expectations.
Right.
It met my expectations entirely. I don't think this movie could have been much better than it was just because of what it is trying to be, which is fan service, linking two movies together that had no right being linked together. Having to bring all of that in one thing with added on knowing there had to be twists. I feel like this was
I think
the best that we could have got.
The first twist reveal that we got, I really liked.
It was cool.
Yeah.
But it was also like super predictable.
True. But and super fan servicey too.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I liked him being like, "Oh, I'm a creator of these fucking people."
It's cool. I think the middle act of this movie is where I have the biggest problem with. And
it's very
what
long.
I was expecting a Hannibal Lecter style cat and mouse. How do we get him out of this? Oh wait, he doesn't need to get out of the prison. Like I wanted to feel like Mr. Glass could have gotten out of this in any second he wanted, and I just didn't feel that. Like there has to be that paradigm shift somewhere in where you realize that he's actually controlling. Like I thought he was controlling all the orderlies. I thought he had them blackmailed. I thought all this stuff. I thought he was going to snap his finger and everyone was just going to turn on Sarah Paulson's character because he was the mastermind. How did he get out of his fucking room? Like we don't even know that, right?
He's so smart. How he figured it out.
But we don't know how he avoided the cameras and all this stuff. Like it just was lazy.
I just don't understand.
It was just fucking lazy.
It
writing.
was. Yeah.
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 It's weird.
But still,
going back
Bruce Willis
to
looks great in it, though.
Going back
no, he
to,
doesn't. He looks so old. Bruce Willis. How old's Bruce Willis?
He's 45, 46.
80.
No. He looks like he's 70.
But they made him look
so
old, but
many
he's
shots.
fit. He's still fit.
He's not. There's so many shots where he just looks like a little old man.
He's keeping it tight for his.
You're crazy.
I think he looked great.
Yeah, I think he looked great too. He looked like a great old man. But
yeah,
like,
he's old as fuck.
Yeah, but like
63.
63 years old is not that old. Look how good he looks.
There was a couple shots where it was like the glory superhero shot, and I looked at him and I was like, "You don't look like a."
Well, that's the other
superhero."
problem is they pull out like they have a couple shots where they just really lead into his outfit and the parka that he wears, the security parka, and like the shot where he's like low shot, like hero shot of him unspooling it, and it just looks dumb. You're like, okay.
Also,
it's not iconic. It's not like
lean-
Captain America's shield. It's just a fucking parka. Like he didn't need to fight with the parka.
Watching Unbreakable like 2 days before, like I love that.
Yeah, the
'Cause it's
parka's
that
really
is-
cool.
Because it's like his weakness is water. He's wearing a raincoat. Like that's cool. I like that. But
So he doesn't
I
get wet.
feel
Why
I
is
feel like
his
this
weakness
movie
water,
does a great
though?
job of having the superhero moments that it commits to, because the score is fantastic throughout the entire movie. Although it's relentless, it never stops. It is so loud at all times.
It's good.
Well,
though,
it's
but
a Dolby
not-
Theater too.
No, I'm not talking about loud to us. I'm talking about loud in the movie to the score. It's
was-
like constantly they're talking over this rising thing. They literally just took the Man of Steel learning to fly theme and just copied it for all of them to have it during their suit up scene and like when they're all like coming together for the first time. And I was like, I love it, especially because they referenced in the movie like Superman didn't know how to fly
Yeah.
until he did. And like
Right.
that was definitely purposeful, but
Well, that's what I was like. Oh,
again, fan service, but
that's
it's weird.
That was dumb because they set all that stuff up, and I was like, oh, is Bruce Willis gonna fucking fly? Right? Like I thought he was gonna have some sort of like evolution to his
No.
heroes,
Wouldn't have
right?
been surprised.
But instead,
Yeah.
he almost drowns, and then is so weak that any human being can just dip his head into the water.
That's
which,
how
by the way,
weaknesses work.
is not how Unbreakable happened. Because in Unbreakable, the kid's like, "Hey, I got this fucking thing," pulls him out of the pool, and then he goes in and wrecks that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like 5 seconds later,
Yeah.
he's like, "Thanks, kid. Oh, I can breathe." Because
Well-
his weakness to water is drowning.
No, but I
not
think,
like it fucking seeps into his pores.
I think his powers have developed, and so has his weakness. Because when in the first shot we see him like just beating the crap out of those YouTube guys, which I don't know if, like, granted, those guys are making a terrible video, but I don't know if the solution is going into their house and just beating them half to death.
Yeah, I think
You
maybe
know?
paralyzing them is a little,
Yeah,
maybe
a little
not
intense.
a punishment
but
that's the crime.
there's the scene he fucking throws one dude like
Also,
against
it's one of
the
those
wall and
things
just
where like
destroys him. He seems strong, is what I'm
you've
saying.
got footage of these kids. You know where these kids are.
Yeah.
Just tell the cops.
Yeah, easy.
They're editing the fucking footage.
This is
They're
why
dumb
the
as
cops
shit.
are hunting you.
Yeah.
This is why the cops are hunting you.
Just like you touch the guy, be like, right here. This is the
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Anonymous
He's
phone
the
call.
one.
Pay me. Daddy wants money.
No, I don't
Daddy
think
wants
you
a
can
reward.
get money out of
Daddy
it.
wants a reward.
I don't like the fingertips. You see
I
that?
really like the plot thread they had of are they actual superheroes or are they not?
Yeah.
Is
That
there
was cool.
grandeur, the
Yeah.
That
delusion?
was actually a cool
It
part.
was cool.
I thought
but
that had a nice payoff when she was like, "I almost got you, didn't I?" Like I was almost.
Did I almost convince you?
Yeah, and
that
it was
stuff
like,
was
"Oh,
cool.
that's really cool."
But it was just surrounded by a lot of other stuff that was like less cool.
But
I
it's-
don't know.
yeah, I don't
it,
know.
It was fun. I'm so happy this movie exists.
But it's
I
also,
also-
but that plot was like they leaned so heavily into that and spent so much time on that. But we've seen these characters do special things. We've seen James McAvoy crawling on the wall, and
But
it's
like then
he's
it was
a
like,
superhero.
bro, you've seen videos of people doing that on
Yeah,
YouTube.
but we saw
and
him
it's
in
like,
the
all right.
trailer of this like digging his feet
Well,
into
no,
the fucking
yeah,
hanging
well,
upside down. That's just
he proves it in that scene,
Yeah.
and they use the footage later for that too.
Yeah.
And I do want to give a shout out that I don't know if you guys will agree with me on, but I feel like this is the first time in a movie I've ever seen a humanoid character like
Move like that,
like an
yeah.
animal and in broad
make-
daylight, and it actually looks good.
Yeah.
because like how many times did we see that shit?
We saw it a lot in
So
X-Men.
much
and
in
it was
X-Men.
horrible.
They almost nailed it in the one where in Wolverine Origins, where Liev Schreiber kind of runs around like that for a little bit.
It's a little
they
that was
don't.
closer, but it was still bad. I thought this was good. I looked
Yeah.
at it, I'm like,
We
they
also
did it.
saw it in the Fast and the Furious when Dom was doing it at the end of the movie in front of his lawn.
Yes, but that was different.
He dove. He dove.
It was a bear crawl.
That's what you're supposed
It's
to
a bit of
do.
a bear crawl.
It kind of looked the same.
You got to dive if there's a drive-by, right?
Listen, man, drive by, dive by is what I always
There
used to
it
say
is,
living
there
in
it
Southern
is.
California.
All right.
We had a
That
Go
was-
see Glass. It's fun.
Yeah, that was our review. I know that we sound negative. It's just that we're being critical. Honestly, I enjoyed the movie. I don't regret going to see it.
It's just, yeah,
Yeah.
for me, watched it.
Yeah.
Don't regret it. Had a fun time with you guys last night. Never going to watch it again.
If you watch the first two movies, it is I feel like
It's
very
them.
definitive end
Yeah,
to
it's
the
them.
series.
It is. And
Yeah.
yeah, and he's come out and said that this is the end. They're not doing more. He's like, I reserve the right to change that in the future. And I could totally see where they would go. But I really liked how it wrapped up and how it ended. It's cool stuff. I would love to see a like super cut movie that's all three movies cut down into one. I don't know how possible that would even
It'd be
be.
a long movie.
But yeah, but
Really long movie.
I feel like you can get it down to about 2.5 hours.
What I would love
and
to
be fine
do
with it.
is take this movie and cut it down myself to about an hour and maybe 45 minutes because I think that's a really good. There'd be a
45
really good
minutes.
movie in there. Really good. I mean, honestly, 20 minutes out of this movie would have been the difference between I'm kind of interested and this is moving along at a nice clip, a nice enough clip for me to be like,
yeah,
I'm
but I
enjoying
still
this.
feel like at the end we would have been disappointed with this, like, a secret organization.
No, because
and
in my
all these
edit, I
guys
would have
are-
just cut out the dumb part at the end, most of the dumb parts at the end. I would just cut them out and maybe move that part and something else.
Okay.
The Nick edit.
Yeah, the Nick
Yeah.
edit. Well, let's see it happen.
Also, there might be frames of just nudity.
Nope.
in it.
All right, moving on. Thank you so much for joining us for the second episode of Screencast.
Great episode.
I had a fun time. I hope you did as well. Remember, you can watch this live on Twitch /kindafunny, twitch.tv /kindafunny games, and also posted on youtube.com/kindafunny. And also all your favorite podcast services.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, you got there.
All right. We had a fun time. I hope
Great
you
time.
enjoyed.
Excellent time.
All right. I don't have a good outro.
You got to have an outro.
I gotta figure
We'll
it
see
out.
you at the
the
movies. So we're going to get sued.
Yeah, isn't that whatchamacallits? Yeah, like that was really bad.